pour that to get it all down. We vibrate it so we've got a consistent structural column of concrete. That's why they call it reinforced masonry.
That.
Actually, the high-rise is easy. Really? We did the water garden down in Fort Lauderdale. That was 36 floors. And it took us 20 and a half months to build that. And the challenge is when you do high-rise, first of all, the piece of dirt's the size of a postage stamp. So to get all that building loaded with building materials and trades and everything else is a nightmare, because you're blocking traffic. You need all these permits, you know, fire considerations, police and fire, and you know it's a nightmare. It's like you got 20 plates turning it all the time, and you're trying to keep it going with deliveries, and you've got to schedule it all, you know. And it's kind of simple. The schedule doesn't matter how big the high rise is. It's a floor a week. You break the floor up, and as soon as you pour that, you're putting columns, you're moving your fly forms or whatever technique you're using, you're moving that up to the next one, and you're just going up like a checkerboard. And there's flow to a job like that, so everybody knows what's next. When you're in the residential, unlike what you see here, you know, they call it prairie building. You know, it's a house over here and a house over there. People are meandering around the job, and it's like, well, has anybody been in that house over there? Who's supposed to be there that's not there? And it's way out in an open field someplace. We try not to build like that. We just build straight down, and that's all part of the marketing. And I did Harry get into that when where's Tom? Did he get into the whole marketing aspect?
He touched a little bit, but he was like, in terms of timing, he spent a little bit more on Central Falls and actually in Chapel.
Right.
So whatever information you want to tell us.
Well, what's unique here is, as you can see, you know, you got a slab, you got the first floor block. Now we're on the second floor block. We'll cross the street here. The roof is going on, so nobody leaves the job. This is paramount because A, we don't have any more workers left, and the workers we have are predominantly unqualified. So that's the industry we're now suffered with, because we missed a generation with computers. People went on to computers and didn't get into the trades. So it's funny, like I was talking to our plumbing contractor who's been doing our work for probably 30 years now. And the owner that I used to work for, Minto Communities, for 35 years, which is where Harry and I came from 10 years ago. He called me up and he said, listen, I got a friend in Fort Lauderdale. He's got a leak in his home. Can you get a plumber over there? I said, yeah, no problem. And I had the owner give me pictures. So I called the plumber. And I said, can you get a guy down there? We've isolated the leak. I had a guy there. We found out where the leak detection, where the equipment was. We found the leak. And it was just a simple matter of sweating a couple pipes and soldering it. It was all in copper. And he said, well, I really don't have a quote plumber. We have guys that just do this, and that's all they do. So we've got guys like you take your car into a dealership and you say you want to have a brake job. Well, there's guys that just do brakes, and there's guys that just do tune-ups, and there's guys. So it's getting very, very specialized. So we've lost that in an industry where, in my day, to get a joiner's license, you could build kitchen cabinets, you could frame homes, you could work on forming. You had this well-rounded knowledge of carpentry. That doesn't exist. And we're going to get back to that because the feds are starting to pump money into the school system and get these kids back into vocational schools because, you know, when a plumber rings your doorbell, they start at $90. They don't do a bad job on compensation.
That's cheap. $90 is actually cheap. I paid more for that.
So, anyways, but we'll get into some of this stuff, high-rise versus low-rise. It's kind of interesting.
What would you say was one of your biggest obstacles while doing this site?
Our biggest which?
Obstacle while setting up this development?
Let's see. The planning went very smooth. Our underground, our water, sewer, paving, and drainage, apart from the time to bring it up to grade 3 feet, that went very smooth. I would say our biggest problem is schedule, labor.
Can you talk about your role here at Label & Co. and what that consists of?
Right. Question is, what's my job? I'm officially called the Vice President. I've worked with Harry since, Harry and I have been together since, well, Harry joined Minto, I think it was 1981. I came down from Canada. Minto is a privately owned company, large developer, builder, owner out of Canada. We came down over that period of time up till Harry left Minto as the president of Minto in 2008. I followed him in 2009. I think at that time we had built somewhere around 22,000 homes in Broward and Palm Beach. We've done a lot of large master planned communities, starting with the township, which is on Sample and Lyons Road. That was 5,500 homes, and that was pure dirt. We developed the whole project. We were the only builder there. We did sub out a couple product lines in the early days. We had a single family while we were busy building villas, towns, garden apartments. And then we moved up into the Palm Beaches. We did a community called Olympia. That was a couple thousand units. That's right on 441 and Forest Hill. Across the street we did Buena Vista. That was 500 or 600 homes, I forget exactly. But all in all, we built about 22,000 units. And we built everything. We built rental villages. We built single family, fourplexes, duplexes, eightplexes, zero lot line, high rise, mid rise. I don't think there's anything we haven't built. So we're pretty well rounded. And
You're going back to single family, how you said?
Yeah.
Project?
Well, we'll take advantage of anything that's out there because we can do it all. It's nothing. We had a lot of fun doing the water garden, and the short story on that, we built it in 22 and a half months, and we sold the entire building in one evening. We rented the Broward County Convention Center. There was so much interest in the community. We just said, okay, we're not going to open up. We're going to do a lottery, which is not a great way of selling homes, by the way, because people had to pick their first, second, and third, and fourth selection. So when it started and you wanted 1605 and the guy in front of you just bought it, then you've got so many minutes to figure out what your second choice was. So that's not a great way of selling real estate, but it's the only, it was our only way of doing it at the time.
What year was that?
That was 2002, because we had a TCO at 4. Yeah, so it was 2002. It's right on Los Olos. Yeah, it's right on the intercoastal there. That was Stu at yeah, it's Stu Cohn. Cohn, Friedman, and Sonosa. Yeah.
So the lottery you just spoke of, that was kind of to avoid the equal housing opportunity to kind of.
What's that?
What was the reason you did the lottery as opposed to highest bidder?
Well, it was the only way we could market the thing and be fair to all the people that had an interest. Because people would come in and say, well, I'd like to put a reservation on there. Well, reservations never, most of the time, they don't materialize. You know, when it gets down to hard cold cash and putting a deposit, people aren't available, they change their mind.
Mm-hmm.
So we just took a different approach. We wanted to be fair to everybody, and that was one way of doing it. And that will probably never happen again. It's kind of like 07. We hope that never rears its ugly head again, because the crash was horrible, and a lot of people never made it. And that was another problem we had, because all those people, that was '07, and it's now 2019. It seems like yesterday. But I had to call the concrete company when we were doing the job in '09, tell him he had pulled the license plates off the trucks and canceled his insurance. That's how much concrete he was pouring in '09. It was horrible. And we did a project called Centra. It's right on Yamato Road in Boca. And that was with Terry Stiles. And there's a whole story to that, and I'm sure that's been discussed in your.
He mentioned it briefly.
Right.
Like he put like 2 minutes on it with the comment. I've told this story a million times now. People are getting bored about it. But it was.
Well, he had shut the project down.
Yeah.
The bank wanted their money, and other than writing a check, he got with Harry, and you know, Terry he's a commercial guy, and the biggest mistake he said, and if he were here today, he'd say the biggest mistake I made is going from commercial to residential. It's a totally different animal. Here you're going up. The whole use and occupant, everything else. He said, I don't know how you guys keep track. You know, on a building, I got one roof. You guys got 200 of them. You know, how does that work? Well, it's easy when you do it. So, anyways, we worked out. It was a workout. We got everybody paid off, and it was a successful job. And what he had built was a 7-unit, 3-story townhouse that started somewhere around 800,000, 750,000, and a zero lot line product, which started at $1.2 million. So the site plan that we had to work with, all the water, sewer, paving, and drainage, and all the site plan had already been approved. He went up for sale. Thank God he didn't sell anything. He had a triple wide sales trailer there. He couldn't draw flies. The market